Okay, next tutorial. Today's makeup is meant to be an acid attack. Something very sticky and very fresh. It's not very lovely, is it? I do apologise. For today's makeup, I wanted to do another trauma-based makeup for my 30-minute effects series. It's definitely one of those makeups where you could go as big or as small as you like. Definitely looks like something that would be at home in a DC comic. Very sticky and gory. Yeah. As always, I had a lot of fun doing this makeup, but I am mightily sticky right now. Just what you want. So if you'd like to learn how to recreate this makeup for yourself, stay tuned. Okie dokie, so before we start this potentially fabulous but most definitely going to be sticky makeup, I better talk to you about the prosthetic that we're going to be using. So the piece that I'm going to be using is this rather magnificent half-face foam latex piece. It is rather glorious. Now it's worth noting that you absolutely do not have to use a prosthetic for this kind of effect. The reason I am is because I've already covered like burns in their entirety with latex and gelatin and occasionally silicone, so I thought it might be nice to do a foam latex piece. And this piece is particularly magnificent. It could also be used for something like Too Faced. So there we are. So as you can see, it's completely down one side of the face and half the mouth, but look at the depth they've managed to get in this piece. Those cheeks look amazing. I'm really going to enjoy doing this. And the best part about this piece is it doesn't show any like exposed like cartoony teeth, which can work really well, but I like the fact that this could be used for any kind of burn really. So as always, I got this magnificent prosthetic from mostlydead.com. I'll flash their link on the screen there as always. And to apply foam latex prosthetics, I like to use an adhesive called Prosthetic. You could also use a product called Prozaid. You could also use in a pinch, maybe Spirit Gum, though I'm not sure how well that would work in blending the edges, though you probably could use liquid latex, but I'm waffling. So I'm going to take a paper-based cotton bud, as always, dip that in the Pro Stick, then start applying that to the centre of our prosthetic. I can then apply some more Pro Stick just to the corresponding area, let it go tacky over a few seconds, and then stick that down. I'm then going to repeat that process, applying a small amount just to the middle until we get to the edge, making sure that we stick everything going away so that everything lines up, it's nice and comfy, and there's no air bubbles. So then, once you're sure everything is completely stuck down, we can start blending off all these edges. So we're going to do that in a very similar way to actually sticking the prosthetic down, and that is to take a new cotton bud, dip that in the Pro Stick, but this time we're just going to apply that to all of the edges, rolling away as we go. And then when it's dry, it should blend off into the skin and be nice and secure. So when everything is blended off, we can start colouring in our foundation. So really, I'm only going to mostly be working on this side of the face, obviously, but some of the colours I will trickle across this side, just so everything looks a little bit more uniform and matched up. So whenever I do kind of trauma makeups, I like to use alcohol activated colours just because they're a lot more translucent and natural looking. Obviously for this look, we're mostly going to be using some reds. So the alcohol activated palette that I'm going to be using is called Lighter Flesh Tones. This is by Nils Materials. There are, of course, many other different tones available depending on your skin tone, but I'm mostly going to be using this gorgeous bright red from this palette. So I'm going to dip my brush in some 99% alcohol, dip that in the red colour, and then apply that to the entire area of the prosthetic, and then blend that slightly away down my neck, across my face, and onto my ear. Then next, once we're starting to look a little bit hot, I can start taking some different colours just to kind of neutralise the edge a little bit. So I'm going to take a mixture of the green tones from this palette and the lighter flesh tones, again just because that matches my own skin tone. And I'm going to apply that around the edges of the prosthetic, blending it towards the middle slightly. So the plan is to apply that in exactly the same way, except using various different tones throughout. Just building it up layer after layer, letting it dry in between till everything is basically not one block colour. Okay, so now we've got a nice base built up, we can start working on some of the more finer details. So I'm going to start by taking a red cream, this is from my Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I'm just going to apply that into all of these open wound areas and then blend that away just until we reach all of these ridges. Okay, so it doesn't need to be neat at this stage because we're just trying to get that depth in there. And speaking of depth, the next step is to take the black cream from this palette and I'm going to apply that in all of the deepest points of all of these open wounds. So I'm just going to apply it, say, all the way around here and then blend it slightly towards the red, just to make it look like it's even deeper than it actually is. Okay, so then before we do anything else, I'm going to work on the eye area. So to colour that in, I'm going to be taking a Bruise wheel. This one is by Kyrolan. And I'm going to take the dark red from this wheel and apply that to my eyelid and underneath my eye and then blend that colour away. I'm then going to take the darker blue, almost black shade and just apply that just in the corner of my eye socket and then blend that away. Okie dokie, so then whilst we're still working with the Kyrolan Bruise wheel, I'm going to bruise up this eye just a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to do a similar method, but only half of the eye. So I'm going to take the dark red cream, apply that to the corner of my eye, and then blend that away. I'll then repeat that process with the darker blue cream going across the eye, although this time I might score downwards a little bit just to make the eye bags really pop. And then finally, I think I might take some of this off yellow colour and just apply that around the eye really sporadically, just to sell the bruise effect. Then the next step is probably the most fun part, and that is to apply some fake blood. Now usually with fake blood I tend to say less is more, but with makeups like this it's really completely up to you. You can add a tiny little bit just to get a bit of shine, or you could go all out. The most important thing to remember is if you are going to apply a lot of fake blood, try not to smother some of the areas that have got these gorgeous detail lines in. We don't really want to hide the prosthetic. So my fake blood of choice is by Fleet Street. This is their drying blood in dark, and to apply that I'm going to take a sponge, dip that in the blood and just apply that over the surface of wherever I want it to be. So just go nice and slow and have some fun with it. Okie dokie, so I think I'm sufficiently sticky, and by sufficiently I mean very. I also applied a little bit of the blood just in 3 different areas on this side of the face just to kind of tie it together. I mean, you probably wouldn't have this much of an injury without incurring at least something on this side. I mean, yeah. Maybe I was peering behind a corner, who knows? I don't know. Imagination. So then we're pretty much done, to be honest. I mean, I'm going to add a little bit more fake blood into my hair and my ear and maybe darken up this side of my neck a little bit more, but other than that, we are pretty much done. There is, however, one itty bitty bonus step to this makeup, which is completely optional, but I think it's very fun, and it'll also help make the look a little bit more fresher, and that is to apply a foaming effect. Now, there are multiple ways of doing this. You could do it with maybe some baking soda or foaming capsules like the ones you put in your mouth for effects makeup. You could just break those apart and add liquid to it. That would make the effect work. Or you could do a method that my most favourite makeup artist here on YouTube, Goldie Starling / Angie, does, and that is to use crushed Alka-Seltzer. So there are multiple ways of achieving a fizzing and foaming effect, but I'm going to be doing a method that I think is a little bit more silly and more me. And that method is, now don't laugh at me, I know it's silly, but I like doing it this way, and that is to take some sherbet mixed with some popping candy, otherwise known as Pop Rocks. You kind of just mix them together, grind them down a little bit, and it does the same effect. Plus it's really tasty. So if you've got any left over, you could just eat it. Sorry, I'm nattering on. But the way you do it is you pop it down into the fake blood. Great sentence. And then we can take a spray bottle filled with water and we can spray the face lightly to activate it and release the carbon dioxide bubbles. They'll just do their thing, fizz away, and it'll make a really nice effect. Plus, it will give the extra added effect of a nice shine to make it look even fresher. The only downside, if you want to call it a downside to this effect, is that it's only temporary. It'll only last a few minutes, so you would have to keep applying it if you want the effect to keep going on. It's more of a party trick, really, hence why I'm saying that it's optional. I just think it's a fun thing to teach you guys. It's also why I'm probably going to only use that effect in the intro of this video, if that's okay. But for now, I'm going to go pop in a contact lens, sort out my hair, maybe apply a tiny bit more fake blood to my ear and neck area, and we'll see what everything looks like. And there we go. That's my look, officially complete. So as I mentioned before, I finished the look off by popping in one sclera contact lens that is completely bloodshot. I just think it really helps sell this side of the face. And I messied up my hair with so much fake blood and hairspray. Oh my goodness, I'm so sticky. There's so much in my ear. But it was necessary, I think. But yeah, fluffies, that's my look. I really hope you all enjoyed this makeup. It's one of those makeups where you could just kind of go as harsh or as delicate as you wanted to. I, of course, have gone down the harsh route because, impact. Maybe part of me just wanted to be sticky. You can just have a lot of fun with this kind of makeup. You can make it as big or small as you want. You could do the whole face, the whole head, that kind of thing. But yeah, fluffies, I really hope you all enjoyed this makeup. If you did like it, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And yeah, so until next time, bye fluffies!